Hey, what's up guys, I'm the One True Dog, and welcome to the Night Shift Eevee's behind the scenes video. So you may be wondering, first thing, what is this? Why does it say Fragment 1? So, well, I learned from Night Shift Eevee's Sealed Fate, which is the prologue chapter, that having a bunch of things in one project is not necessarily the best idea. So I decided to split it into little fragments. And it ended up coming out to 7. While the first 4 fragments made up the first half, the last 3 made up the second half. And you may be wondering, but the first half was so little. How did you make it 4 while the other one was 3? Here's the answer. I know, look at this beautiful city. Yeah, it's gonna get a lot better later on, I promise. Also, one thing that you may notice is the constantly changing color effect. Oh yeah, also I'll explain the transition here, but the text constantly changes because I didn't, copy all the different colors and stuff like that. Alright, so you may be wondering how the transitions in this work from fragment to fragment. Well, they work like this. So what I do is I click the pause button of my recording software because my recording software has that pause button. And then I just unpause it during the black screen because every one of these fragments starts and ends with a black screen. There's no real, in between. Also, if you notice this city, you might notice it looks kind of like Minecraft because Minecraft was an instrumental tool in this thing. I built out most of these different backgrounds in Minecraft and then traced over them. It's not bad if you trace over your own work. I promise. Please don't sue me. While also adding little touches like the chain link fence over here, the crack over here, this little overhang part over here. So yeah, also don't mind Davey here. He's just vibing. He's a sleepy boy. So yeah, now let's look at the character models. So first off, let's look at the sheer difference between Chapter 1 and Chapter 0. First of all, what is this? I'm just going to wall it off right here. What is this exact spike? It looks so, off. I don't know what I was thinking. It may have been really good at the time, but, now I'm evolving. I'm improving. And now let's first look at this model. So, yeah, it's got the points of articulation, which there are these ones at the knees. There are also these ones at the ears, and these ones at the legs. So I have to move the whole leg if I do this. So, yeah, boop, 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 boop. And now let's look at this model. As you can see, it doesn't have that, black outline. It works well in some instances, and in some it just doesn't. Oh yeah, also let's take a look at the eyes. The eyes are not one individual thing. They are a bunch of things, which are the pupil of the eye, this part, which makes it look somewhat more alive, in my opinion at least. The little shine in the eye. And yeah, that is how the eye works. So it has the same points of articulation, but a little bit more detail. Boom. And I also have different versions of the model. For example, this one, which has the hat on. As you can see, I added a little shadow polygon right there. And also, I broke off the little floof coming off. Yeah, sorry, you can't be an anime protagonist anymore, nerd. Don't mind that. I also have saturated versions of the models, which you may notice have much brighter colors than the other ones, and also probably strain your eyes a little bit. Not only that, but also have this little gradient effect on the eyes. I just thought it would be really cool for inner monologues and stuff like that, even though there weren't that many, or moments of fear. I also have ones for Eevee, Wave, and Fern. Oh yeah, also speaking of these different characters, you may be wondering how I made them work. So, yeah, there's a bunch of different shapes right here, which I can use to change them up. Also, these little fin thingies right here. And if you're wondering how I made them blend in so seamlessly, even though they weren't exactly seamless, there's a little shape right here you'll notice. And if I get rid of that, there's just a hideous line. So, slap that right back on, and as you can see, that is how they work. I also have a lot of different generic character models which I created. For example, Plusle, Aron, Magnemite, 2 Rockruff models, an incomplete Chespin one, a Wooloo model, and a Latias one. We also have the models for different characters like Umbreon. Oh yeah, originally, Umbreon was going to have night vision. I'll cover that in the what was cut video. Originally, Umbreon was going to have night vision. So yeah, that's why this is the green costume. So, also I had like little Jolteon walk cycles, and also, one more thing, here's something I'm really proud of. This exact model. I'll do this model so it's more accurate. Look at this. Like, you can see the monitor, like, reflecting off the face. You can see the little shine here, the shading. I'm surprised more people didn't talk about this, because, like, this is honestly one of the best done models. Even the little shine on the, sorry, just testing my mic was on. Little shine on the, table. I also have models for different, objects. And one thing which I need y'all to know is this buttery smooth animation of the drawers. Please talk about this more, guys. I adore this animation. This was one of the best things which I've ever made, and it was just an animation of opening some drawers. So there was, I also have like a little sound bank here, even though I didn't use that much. Like, as you can see, you got some of the background noises from the city. Also made them very quiet. However, yeah, here's one more technique that I used. Notice how that sounds really, really muffled, unlike, say, this sound? So here's exactly what I did here. You see these little options down here, yeah? Like, below it. For example, faster, slower, louder, softer, etc. What I did was I clicked faster a few times. 1, 2, 3, 5, and then 5. Notice how it seems a little bit more muffled. I'll do a comparison. So, non-muffled, muffled. There's definitely a difference there. It's one of my favorite techniques, and I don't know how more people didn't know it on that one too. And oh yeah, also I forgot, I was going to mention these, the overlays. So you see these, yeah, like they usually appear at the beginning and end of the part which they're in. So here's how I made that work. So the ghost effect, this is going to become very notable later. The ghost effect, like, makes things become transparent, or, if it's set at 100, disappear completely. So what I did was I made that go back on and off for the transitions. For example, usually it's showing, it's just that the ghost effect is so high that it cannot be seen at all. Also, the text also relies on this command, and I used, as you can see, I did a lot with the text. So let's look at the command. This exact command is what causes the text lines to happen. So they go to the front layer, because it would be stupid if they, like, appeared behind Jolteon. Then, depending on what costume it is, or what text line, it switches the costume to that exact text line. Like, as you can see, I have them numbered 0, 1, 2, 3, and they're already pre-made. So Then I like set the text line to a certain thing, and then I set the time, which is how long like the text shows, to a certain number that would be like just enough so that it wouldn't be too hard to read if you didn't have to pause, but just enough so that you didn't have to pause it every single time, and also that doesn't interrupt the flow of the story, because, you know, if text goes on for too long, it interrupts the flow of the story. Yeah, this isn't exactly needed because it also automatically changes the text line number, but, you know, just to be sure. It's sort of like a precaution, because sometimes these have not worked. Also, let's go to fragment 7. Hang on a second. So this minigame right here. So you notice how, like, the movements happen, right? In truth, that is me controlling it. I have it set to the different arrow keys. I can move it myself at will. Oh yeah, also notice that, like, you know, the model doesn't exactly cooperate all the time. It's because, like, the different costumes are set. But anyways, like, notice how I can go through walls and stuff like that. I just depended on myself to make it more realistic. So yeah, also, boom. How did that happen? And why can't I go back? Well, because there's a trigger right there. It's this little sprite right here, down at the bottom. You can't see it, but it's exactly the same color as, like, the background. And whenever I touch it, it changes the costume of the background minigame, the minigame's background, to the next one. So as you can see, there is not one over here, so even if I did go all the way over there, it would not be possible. So, yeah. You also got this little animation. By the way, I always preferred Mangle's Garble over Purple Guy's one. Which is the main reason that I used it here. Because, you know, it sounds a lot more monstrous and just menacing. I don't know, but that's just the impression it always gave me. So, yeah, that's pretty much what I have to say right now, and also that transition again. So, yeah, that's pretty much all that I have to say about this, at least for now. And I'll definitely most likely be doing more on it. Oh yeah, one more thing. Of course there's going to be more things. Do you guys even know who I am? Sometimes I animated stuff in the actual backgrounds, like the backgrounds of the scenes, instead of, you know, actually making an entire new sprite and, like, adding a bunch of foreground objects and stuff like that. Sometimes I just find it easier to animate it with the background. For example, making this light shine and having Espeon flee from it. Also, another unedited thing, as you can see, it is definitely made in Minecraft because, you know, got that nice stone slab texture. Or smooth stone, I think it was. But also, this little thing right here, as you can see, the blurry Jolteon, is just a bunch of circles. Just a, you know, little circly boy. A very low quality model that I made. In fact, you can see it right here. But yeah, that surprisingly worked really well. So, yeah, I think that's pretty much all that I really have to say. You can kind of see which characters are in the background and which ones aren't. And I will see you guys in the next video. I'll do a cut content one. Alright, enjoy yourselves, and bye-bye.